Hey everybody, welcome. Hey, those of you that are on so far, if you're getting your things set up for class tonight, if you have a yoga block, definitely have a yoga block by your mat. If you don't, get a blanket and roll it up a few times. So you might use that for padding, or you can also have a towel that you might use and to pad certain parts of your body. So just things to have around your mat, and of course something to drink. And you're at home, so whatever you'd like. And then we'll get started in about 8 minutes. If anybody's joining for the first time and you're wanting to have music with your experience, there's two ways to do that. I think the easiest way with just about 8 minutes until class would be to go on Spotify and look up my account, which is Joe Komar, Komar. And then you can pull up the playlist for tonight, which is Urban Detox Live with today's date. And so I'll always post the playlist about an hour before classes. And so that if you want to stream a playlist with your experience, you can. And then if you want to be on a live stream, this is probably something and that you would do in between classes, but there's an app called Earbuds Music, and I'll actually stream that same playlist live, which is what I'm listening to here in my little ear monitor. And so either way, I think for Detox it's easy enough just to go on Spotify. You just have to use a separate device than what you're viewing the video on. And then you want to set your volumes. And so make sure the volume of the video is high enough and so that you're not having to look back. And you want to be able to clearly hear my voice. And then if you add music, and you can have that alongside, but at a lower level, to make sure that you can hear the instructions. Oh my gosh, Roz, that's amazing. 16? Oh, and you still look like Ben. That's so sweet. And tell him happy birthday. You know, you guys probably gave him so much love, and that's all that really matters. So, hope you guys had a nice day. If you have any questions, feel free to use the live chat on the video. If you're feeling anything in your body, let me know. If you're sore, if certain things hurt or certain part of your body feels stressed, definitely let me know in that live chat. Hi, Brian Boone. Hi, Ari. Hi, Roxanne. Good evening. How you guys? Yeah, just a couple minutes, and so if you're still fluttering around your mat, and start to make your way there, please. Yeah, I wanted to mention to everybody before we go into that, and a lot of you guys now practicing detox every night, you know the zone, you feel a little bit different afterwards than you do before. So I never expect you to really listen or focus in any way for the next hour. And so I just wanted to mention before the class that starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific time, this is not an asana or a physical experience at all. But on the same channel here, you're going to see a live stream pop up. And it's going to be a Yoga Life live chat. And so just as you guys say hi in the comments here on the YouTube video, we can create a little interactive hour where you guys can bring up topics or ask certain questions or just inquire about certain things and how you're feeling or how your mind's working. And then I'll try to associate that with the Yoga Life philosophy. It's really the basis when I share anything throughout an experience. It's on this belief that what we're doing on our yoga mat is allowing us to process everything that is going on in our lives, and to do so with a positive perspective. This doesn't turn a blind eye to what's really going on. It's just working through and breaking things down philosophically, and so that you can then realize that positivity and then take whatever you may be offered on your mat back into your life. And so it's this relationship of reciprocity. So we're going to spend an hour every Friday just adding on to our experiences. I hope you'll join us, and you can share it with anybody that just wants to listen. You can have it on in the background. You can participate if you want to. You can send me questions beforehand. Keep you anonymous. It doesn't have to be something other people have to know about, because surely whatever you share, whatever you're feeling, I guarantee that other people are feeling it too. And so we'll find relatability and hopefully even more connection for that hour on Fridays. So tomorrow at 3, if you can join us, share it, same place. I'll see you then. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the playlist on the Earbuds app if you're following along. If you're going to be streaming on Spotify, go ahead and start your playlist now, please. And once you get your volume set on your video and your audio, if you have music, it can be very peaceful if you don't have music. Yet in Detox, I think the ambiance of the music certainly pulls us in and to go into another layer of the experience. And we're going to start in a seated position. So I'm sitting cross-legged. I got a block under my bum. You can always put something underneath. You can sit on your shins. But this is basically presenting readiness and towards our practice of stillness, the groundedness and a belief in that we can only be in one place at one time. And our body is the symbol for that. So make any little adjustments that you need to, and let your shoulders relax, and let your breath be gentle. And let's close the eyes here. If you are holding on to tension or stress or tightness in your chest, you acknowledge that it's there and let this process soften it for you. slow down here, it'll feel like you're dropping into the back of your eyes. And you'll feel a little bit more weight in the back of your head. And release tension on your brow and your forehead, and around your eyes, underneath your eyes, into your cheeks. It's a beautiful life, everybody. And have a beautiful practice tonight. You can gently bring your eyes back into the room. And then you're just going to start to make little counterclockwise circles with your shoulders around your hips. Moving your torso laterally, a little bit forward and then a little bit back. And then just start to close your eyes and feel your body more like a wave. Go in any direction that feels good. You can switch and feel your shoulders rolling up and rolling down. A little twist, little turns. All right, let's slowly make our way onto our backs, please. If you're sitting on any props, blocks or blankets, please remove them. And as you come to lie down onto your back, bend your legs and so that your feet are flat. You can rest your hands onto your belly and then separate your feet just a little bit wider than your hips. You're going to feel that and create a little tug into your outer hip flexors. And let that soften your low back as it expands through your sacrum. It's a triangular bone at the base of your spine. And then keeping your feet this wide, and we're going to start with a gentle twist. And so simply let both knees fall down towards the left. And they're going to be staggered. And so you're rolling to the outer edge of your left foot and the inner edge of your right foot and letting your knees get heavy. Yeah, I put a light interlace into the tips of my fingers. And keeping the hands rested down onto the belly. If you want to lift the head an inch and then reset your head, you could do that. And relax the jaw, relax the breath. Maybe in this one place at one time. And you may just discover a lot of wisdom unveiled, truth, honesty. If you let your mind go and let your body still. should be able to observe it pretty clearly. And the typical nature of a human being in the mind is to always go beyond the point that is now. For whatever reason, most people's minds and don't recognize the now. Here, the space of the present moment is the most valuable place and that we can be. And I've always tried to explain this in classes. And then maybe this would be a topic in for one of our Friday discussions. But the present moment has nothing to do with time. And so I'll leave it there for you to explore, and with your curiosity as you sit with these sensations tonight. And the present moment has nothing to do with time. And really let your muscles release around any points of your body that are touching the mat. Maybe, for example, your outer left hip flexor, it might be trying to hold on. But if you just let the knees continue to soften with gravity, eventually you're going to feel those muscles release. And they're going to understand that there could be a different relationship. And that it doesn't necessarily have to be the way that it always has been. Here for an hour, you can literally watch your body heal itself, and from the inside. And to let go of some of the stress, and so that you're not carrying it around, so that it doesn't manifest into something else, and we're inducing a flow. It's like in creating a dam and holding up all the energy of the water. And then eventually opening up the dam and letting the water flow through and downstream and beyond into a place where you didn't even know existed. And you can stay as you are. If you want to go a little bit deeper, and you just take your left ankle and cross it over your right thigh, and that's going to add a little bit more weight. And for your right knee to come towards the mat. Maybe if that put too much weight into your low back, into your SI joint. And just bring your left foot back down onto the ground. Let's take a few deeper breaths here so you can inhale through your nose and open your mouth, let the exhale and come out, and do 2 more like that. And if you got your ankle crossed, you can keep it crossed. And a little draw through your belly as you start to roll your hips or roll on your hips, and so they come back square. And releasing the twist. If your left ankle is not yet on your right thigh, please bring it there. And so you've got like a figure 4 shape, and with your left leg. You feel the mat underneath your right foot. And keep your hips heavy. And this may be enough if you're already feeling it in your outer left hip or in your glute if you're not and you want to feel it more. And keep your legs in the shape, reach your left hand through the legs. And you lift the head, interlace the fingers behind your right hamstring. And then let your shoulders and your head come back down so you're in a pose called wind relieving. You would thread the needle. That's the figure 4 leg. And your hands tucked in behind your right hamstring. And if you haven't quite got the grip, and with your knuckles through your knuckles, and simply regrip, and so you don't have to fight with the grip while you're in the pose. You can get down into much deeper things. And then once you got the grip, let your shoulders be heavy and hips square, and feel your head on the ground. You're welcome to close your eyes. And we'll be here for a little while. At least while we're in these detox experiences, I hope you all can see the expansion of the flow. If one day it seemed like a parallel path and something that sat outside of you, this idea of a yoga practice and flow moving through you, now it's all beginning to blend, it's beginning to expand itself into everything, and at the same time it amounts to nothing, and because it's not about measuring, and there is no success into a practice. And you're simply here, and you're simply at one place at one time. You're literally intersecting and creating a relationship with everything in the entire universe in this moment. You ought to be feeling this in your hips and your hands. But hopefully taking it lightly, take it with a grain of salt, as they would say. Take it for what it's worth. As my neighbor growing up would say. You basically don't add any stress into the situation. About 1 more minute here. And I offer you the opportunity and to let any weight, any heaviness and that you were carrying before this, and to let that go as you soften in your grip and let your right foot come back down onto the ground. And take it really slow and feel the release. Uncross your left leg and slide both of your legs out long. And bring your arms down by your sides. And feel the weight in your hips and the weight in your shoulders. And the space to release here. Sometimes in the release and these rebounds, and you'll feel sensations in your body like you've never felt them before. You'll feel diagonal lines of energy associating to one another, like your right shoulder and to your left hip and through your belly, and the release through your back. You allow your mind to expand with the space of your body. Amazing. Let's take your hands back onto your belly. You can just cross the fingertips. And bend your right leg, bend your left leg. And set your feet flat and just a little bit wider than your hips. And you should feel that tug a little bit on your outer hip flexors. And if you don't, walk your heels in a little closer to your bum first. And then feet just a little bit wider than your hips. And feel the softness and the release in your chest, and you can take a nice deep breath into it. And keep your feet pretty much where they are. Let's let both knees come down towards the right. And shoulders stay flat. Don't be surprised if one side feels tighter than the other. I tell you guys that every night. Your bodies will never actually hold up a perfect balance. But our practice can continue and to show us and to expand our center. Learn what balance really means. and see what's really important to you in your life. You learn and enrich in yourself into your most authentic self. You may really start to see things and with a different lens of perspective when your practice isn't about being strong. It's not about going into the deepest expression and that you possibly can. It's not even about aligning in your body. It's more about feeling the resilience, remaining still, of letting go of the involuntary fidgets and the ways that you can excuse yourself from being in one place at one time. And without measuring the mind in any way, and there is the equal opportunity of the mind taking you in deeper, or like I was saying, attempting to excuse yourself from what you're feeling. Equal opportunity, both ways. And so you just sit with it, let it be. And you're welcome to keep your legs as they are. And if you'd like to add on a little bit and take your right ankle on the outside of your left thigh, above the knee. And puts a little extra weight for your left knee to come towards the ground. And if that's too much in your low back, don't do it. And it's real simple, just keep your right foot where it was.
If your right ankle is crossed, you can keep it there. If not, no worries. Nice and slow either way. And begin to roll your hips, and so they're back to square on your mat. And once your hips are square, everybody cross your right ankle to your left thigh above your knee. And then we're going to set up a little, when relieving, thread the needle. So reach your right hand through. And head can come up. Interlace the fingers behind your left hamstring. And get your knuckles and through knuckles in the grip. And then start to let your shoulders and your head come back down to the ground. And keep your breath relaxed and your face soft. About one more minute on this side. And you ought to be feeling quite a bit here. And I know sometimes it can be tough to stay in that last minute, but it's an exponential factor in the benefits that we receive. And so if you can face those urges, if you can observe the reactions that are taking place because of a silly sensation, we can do so much more with our minds, and we do so much more in the space of our bodies. And nice and easy, you can start to relax the grip. And let your left foot come down onto the ground. And then release your right leg, take it up, and then all the way back down. And let both legs go straight. And relax your arms by your sides with your palms facing up. And the head ought to feel heavy if you just want to reset the head. And take a deeper breath. It might feel good to sigh and feel the weight in your shoulders. Feel the lightness in your belly. And slowly transition as you bend your legs. And take your left arm up over your head. And then go ahead and roll onto your left side in the fetal position. Bend both of your legs. You can let your head rest into your bicep and scoot your body into the midline of your mat. Amazing, you guys. Keep your head heavy. Use your right hand. And you're going to stay on your left side, but press your way up into your left palm. And so your left arm becomes a kickstand. And once you get up onto your left palm, you're going to straighten your left leg down the mat. And then bend your right leg, reach down, and slide that right foot up. Okay, as high as you can. And you keep your right hand connected to your right foot. And your left hand supports you on the mat. And again, your bottom leg, your left leg is straight down the mat. And chin to your chest. And we're not pulling, we're just setting in these points and connect. And so we can allow our bodies into release. If you pick any 2 points in your body, and there's space in between, there's probably going to be more space. And by the time you get done sitting still in the pose, you just let your mind work in that spectrum from one end to the other. And know that what you're doing is all good. just keep releasing, allowing the heaviness and to expand your body like a mold. Like you're a mold and gravity is pushing that mold out based on the shape and the direction and coming down towards the floor. You'll do about 5 more breath cycles here. And as gently as you can, we'll start to lift ourselves out of this. So bring your head back up. And out the way we came in, let your right foot slide down. And right hand on the ground, bend both of your legs. And all we're going to do is swing our legs to the other side by rolling on the back of our hips. And so your right hand will become your kickstand. And let your legs be in the fetal position to start. And as you get your right hand set, and then straighten your bottom leg so your right leg goes down the mat. And your left foot comes up the mat. And pull it up as high as you can. Tuck your fingers. There, just connect the fingers into the outer edge of your left foot. And then to start, let your right side body get heavy and your chin falls down towards your chest. It can only be in one place at one time. It's so beautiful, it's so freeing, and it's very relaxing. It seems so silly, but it can be a profound aha moment. If you've noticed that you've really been losing your shit, or sometimes taking ourselves way too seriously. And so be here now. And in part in the realization that you are on a path and that you're working in something deeper beyond the way we connect into this world externally is when you can arrive in moments that may not necessarily be easy and yet find a great sense of gratitude for being there. And this isn't like gratitude in that you write down on a piece of paper, I'm grateful for this or I'm grateful for that. This is the gratitude that you feel like there's nowhere else and that you would rather be, that you could see not necessarily why you're here, but you understand that you're supposed to be here. Now your body's in a mold and gravity is the weight. And to push that mold out and make a shape. We'll stay about 5 more breath cycles on this side. And the answer is yes, it can be incredibly tricky and unnerving to be sitting in these positions and not having any idea of how long you're going to be here. But isn't that the perfect metaphor for life? There's so many. But being in something that might be a little uncomfortable, and yet in this case, and you know that it's ultimately good or positive to be where you are, but it's still uncomfortable. And so you're gaining a little edge there, but it doesn't make it any easier because you have no control. When you have no control, the mind is going to move. That's what we want it to do. You slowly start to bring the head back up. And then start to slide your left foot down. Your left hand on the ground, bend both of your legs and see your back. And then we can start to roll back onto the hips. Okay, so you're facing sideways on your mat. And then just bring the soles of your feet to meet. And let your knees fall apart. And so you're in a seated butterfly position. Arms rest here on your inner thighs. And then your hands can gently clasp
and around the back sides of your feet. You might feel good to spread your sits bones. You might feel good to flutter your wings a couple times, your knees up and down. You feel that vibration of movement coming down towards the origin of your hips and your hip flexors into your groin. And then just let that movement cease. And relax the soles of your feet. And your thighs get heavy, your head can begin to drop as you release your belly. And feel the sprawl on your back. And when you think you've let your head go all the way, there's probably even more room to let your head, neck, and shoulders release even more. And so let it go there. Everything you've ever done, everything you've ever experienced, all the knowledge that you've gained along the way has helped you or guided you to go inside and seek the wisdom and to be at peace here. If you haven't let it go yet, whatever it may be preventing you from sitting in a moment of peace, and I bet you it just came up now. And so there's another opportunity to let it go. It'll come up as many times as it needs to, gifting you the opportunity to let it go. And when you finally do, you'll feel it. Feeling your hips, feeling your spine, start to bring your head back up. Slowly take your hands to your outer thighs. And then you can start to bring your knees back up towards each other. And we're going to set up for a little half rabbit, so both of your feet are flat. And take your left arm behind your left leg and bring the hand over to your right shin. And then take your right arm behind your right leg and bring it over to your left shin. You walk your heels in a little bit closer towards you. You get really soft and relaxed through your belly. And a little lift up through the back of the heart. And you should feel the top of the shoulders and the sides of your neck. And then keeping the hands on the shins. And start to lean back. And let your chin rest down towards your chest. It might feel like you're actually drawing your shoulders out of the sockets and creating traction across your back into your deltoids, and then on top of the shoulders
and the AC joints. And soft belly, just lean back and let your head fall. And you can keep your head heavy and roll yourself back up gently through your spine. And all we're going to do is switch the grip, and so the other wrist is on top. And fingers still across the front of opposite shins. And then roll up a little bit higher through your spine. And shoulders away from your ears. And then soft belly, and once again you can lean back. And let the chest compress. And your back body expand. And it may feel different on this side. And let your head drop. And you may or may not realize all the benefits of what your practice is giving to you right now, and that is okay. You may have moments in where it's a little bit of a tug of war as you're working directly into the acceptance of your beautiful mind and learning to worship in the temple that is our bodies. But it's happening. And that space is expanding. And the attachments are lessening. The weight or the heaviness and that we may have started with certainly is not the same. You can feel all of these sensations as you begin to roll yourself back up through your spine. And go ahead and slide your hands off of your shins. And then turn yourself in 45 degrees on your mat. And so that you can lie down, head towards the top, and legs straight towards the bottom. And then I'll meet you in our final resting pose. Shavasana this evening, surrender. Complete surrender. And watch the stillness encapsulate in whatever you thought time was, into what this moment has become. And to be in a place you never could have imagined. And to feel the gratitude for being here. In this practice, everybody, it certainly brings warmth to my heart and hope to my mind. That we can still acknowledge peace within ourselves, compassion and love and support for each other. And you continue to take care of yourselves and get a lot of sleep and take good rest and do everything that you can. And to be there for yourself and to be there for each other. If you need anything, please reach out. And hope you all can join us for our morning practice at 10 a.m. And then for our afternoon live chat, first one tomorrow at 3 p.m. Followed by another detox at 7:30. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Namaste.